just
Don't
insane,
let it
isn't
get you
it?
down. It's all good.
It's crazy.
Blame
So
me.
yeah, nah, I can't blame you. You didn't do anything. I'm gonna blame Walt because he wasn't on.
That's always a good way to go.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, here we go. We're broadcasting again. We back up, guys.
Yes, we are.
Yep. If anything, we gotta make sure that Bill gets the opportunity to show his stuff off because he didn't get to last week.
I did already.
What's that?
I already did show it.
So, hi. My son's like, "What's going on?" So what? Come on in. What do you want? You want the iPad? You can get your iPad. Go ahead. So guys, all right. Let's get through the items and let's go to back to some rules. Okay. Let's talk about level limits. Why don't we talk about level limits? So. How about class level limits, guys? On that one, we'll go
Dumb.
there.
Dumb.
One of the dumbest rules that was out there. Once again, understanding that it was about trying to breed a concept of balance through the game, but made absolutely zero sense whatsoever from just a realistic standpoint.
And to go along with that, the spells that have level limits on them. Like, I think a fireball can only go up to 10 hit die, right?
Yeah, I mean, just that's true, but that didn't come into effect until third edition came out, and third edition put level limits. That's a good one, Alan. Put level limits on spells. So, well, here, okay, I don't know why. Okay, guys, so I rebooted my router. I rebooted my system again. I don't know what the hell's going on. I mean, I have a pretty fast Comcast, but who knows? The gods have been out to get me, get us all tonight. It's Alan, it's Alan coming on the show tonight, so or something. So
hey, Bill, I took the black.
Class level limits. Hopefully, we'll get some of those watchers back. I was never a fan of them from day one, and I looked at it and I was like, I understand why they did it because they didn't want everyone playing elves, right? They didn't want everyone playing multi-class elves back in the day. That was the reason, right? And I saw that we really bounced around with stuff. You guys, everyone played what they wanted to race-wise and class-wise for the most part. So it really wasn't a problem with us. I can see in a world where you have some different people that aren't like of the right. That's exactly it, Will. You build it into the racer class. And Fighter Magic User Cleric, Sprocket, Gazumba himself is a Fighter Magic User Cleric. Swain was a Fighter Magic User Cleric. Who else am I missing?
No, Swain was a Fighter Cleric Magic user.
Yes. Thanks, Mark.
Get it right.
Swain was a Fighter Cleric Mage.
Say it the right way.
We go Fighter, Cleric, Mage in that order. So, yes. I had, in Tim's world, I had Kixando. He was a Fighter Cleric Mage, right?
Yep.
Then we did Fighter Mage Thief. We did Cleric Mage Thief. We did all sorts of different. Anna, those imbalances are just, it's something that I know why they were worried about it. Like no one would play a human, but when you look at what we've built in, and we'll talk about this next week, and hopefully I'll be on without these problems next week. But it looks like we're stable now. I can't believe that. It's just a simple reboot of a router. Maybe there was some kind of chunking going on. So we'll get through this. Multi-class characters in our game can't weapon specialize with multiple attacks at all, right? They can't get the +1 hit +2 damage. They can't get double specialization. And that eliminated a lot of the issues between no one will play a specialized character. Like even for us, like paladins and rangers all had specialization, but they didn't get the multiple attacks, but they got the specialization. And fighters and knights and Saxons and cavaliers, they all got specialization. But when you played a Fighter Mage Thief, you didn't get a weapon. You weren't allowed to take weapon specialization. That was how we kind of nipped that one in the butt. And I'm not sure if that's the way it is with other classes. I know that after Arcana talks about it. What do you think, Bill, Mark, Alan? What do you guys want to input on that while we're still here? And I haven't dropped the frame rate.
Specifically around specialization? Or?
Yeah, around the balance between why the class level limits, was a problem, and with and how we nipped it. How?
Yeah, I never understood them, because running a multi-level character, if you're running multi-class, those characters take so long to level anyway. That the point of doing that, like elves were restricted by fighter level. Well, elves are supposed to be some of the best fighters out there. I mean, they get bonuses with bow and sword. As a racial ability, why would they be limited in fighter levels? It never made sense to me.
Yeah. Well, and what also kind of added into that was that you could be unlimited in thief, except for the half orc, which was limited in thief, but he could be unlimited in assassin. Made zero sense.
Yeah. Now there are class level limits, classes themselves, right?
Yeah.
Like that is something we have. Yeah, that's different. That's different. So, like the assassin, grandfather. That's it, right?
And druid.
Yep.
Monk. The guardian had one, and we removed it because guardian ended at 9th, and we removed that because it just didn't make sense for it. Oh my gosh, look at that hop up.
Right.
So thanks, guys. Everyone's popping back on. I guess there's probably nothing else going on tonight. I guess everyone's like,
not for another 20 minutes.
Unbelievable. All right, so here's the thing. It never was a problem in our game because I didn't let it become a problem, and our players didn't let it become a problem. So you like that, Will? Okay. Well, here's the good thing. You're gonna love this. I know you probably got the article. Real quick, next week's 2 weeks we do our DM's roundtable, and Frank from Nightheart Gaming's on, and Will's on, and Anna's on, and Legends of Evangelist is on, and Mark's probably going to be on, and Brian's probably going to be on, and Tim hasn't told me yet. But next week we're going to delve into the fighter, and if we time permitting, we're going to talk about the Guardian. We're going to talk about the Barbarian, and we're going to talk about the Shield Thane. So you have so you'll like that discussion next week. All right. Yes, we're going to talk about the Guardian, which is a great class. The Shield Thane's a great class too.
Yeah,
and that was created by the other Bill, who doesn't play anymore, and the Barbarian, which we never really even discussed. So we're going to talk about the fighter, delving into the fighter, and then we'll do those three. So hold on for a week. Next week will be a good discussion.
How many? Out of curiosity,
yeah.
How many Barbarians?
We're up to 101.
How many players do we actually have that actually play Barbarians? I only know of 2.
You have
right back.
That's right. You have Barbarians. You have Inga.
And Allen's.
I
think that's it.
We have some NPC.
Since I've been playing.
Yeah, it's true.
Well, everybody gets scared off by that 6,000 experience points you have to get between first and second level.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's brutal.
Man. All right. Well, thanks, guys, for hopping back on. Looks like we're good now. And looks like it was just a simple router reboot. So something was chunking in my router. Rebooted it. The router's good. I should have rebooted it last time when I just rebooted my system. I was an idiot.
You just add it to your checklist before you stream. That's all.
Yeah, I rebooted it. I always do. And I got one of those new ones, the X6 or whatever, the real nice one. Yeah. And never had this. You guys know I've never had this problem with it since I got it. But something must have happened tonight with who knows. All right, so merging.
Tiger won the Masters. It overloaded the internet.
Yeah.
Topic. This one we're going to talk about next week too.
Well, hold on before you go on, because I think that there's a natural segue into it. We talked about demi-humans and level limits.
Yep.
Stat limits.
Yeah, so, good one. So you go ahead, Mark.
I was going to say, so I know if you look on YouTube, there was, and I don't remember the specific host, but he's a 5-ear, and he was delving back into 1E to go through the rule sets, and he's like, I just can't understand why there were like stat limits That makes like no sense whatsoever, and like human females could only be like so strong, and males could be as strong as the table went, and it just didn't make any sense at all. And it's interesting. Just think 30 years ago where we were at, just even as a country, for instance. Not to make it sound political, but the thought process of what people were like, about male domination and things of that nature. The game was kind of designed in a very patriarchal kind of mentality, which, somebody from today's day and age that had never seen it before, never lived it before, probably wouldn't understand it. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying that even that long ago, there was that kind of a installed mindset in the game itself.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. And I'll say this: how many years ago was it when the Comet first came? And everyone knows this Comet story, guys. If you don't know the Comet story, I'll tell it to you. You saw it on our ad for the Mega Stream. Mark threw it in there as a joke. Yeah, Mark made some great points here. A lot of the old school characters were so imbalanced, complete. Yeah, we still have comeliness. We like comeliness as a stat. We kind of put it in there as a vanity stat, Anna. Definitely.
All Jay's characters have high comeliness.
That's not true.
And very low charisma.
Yeah, absolutely.
And low intelligence. High charisma, but they're played with low charisma.
They're just obnoxious.
Yeah, Fritz doesn't have high charisma. Long live Fritz. So we had the complaint was I can't play my old school characters anymore, and that mostly came from Walt, right? Because he had a lot of them. So when the comment came through, that's when I implemented the stat limit on strength based by race, just to get these down, because we had some problems where we had guys running around with 20, 21 strength, and you guys know how that scales up to 1800. Beyond that, it's crazy. And it was throwing with this weapon specialization and with all these great weapons that they had, it was really messing things up. And that's when I did that. And I remember it affected torque, right? Affected torque a lot.
No, I went from 19 to 1875.
Yeah, I know, but that's a huge difference. +3, +7, down to +2, +4, right?
Yeah, but it affected him after he was pretty much done adventuring. So
yeah, that's true.
I really haven't played him much since then.
But it affected Schlemmen was the big one, and still haven't undone. And there was a couple others it affected, and I think that was probably a smart move. And we did that years later. I mean, years into the campaign, just to get
stop that with mediocre jelly.
Yeah, actually we were talking Naz. And Brian and I this morning were talking about mediocre jellies. I swear to God, because Naz was talking about an ochre jelly that he was using on someone, and apparently ochre jellies and gelatinous cubes are really nasty in 5e. And he was talking about it. I said, I'll one up you with a mediocre jelly. So
that was one of Tim's greatest inventions.
Absolutely,
it was.
I will give him full points.
So everybody should know mediocre jelly is that when it attacks you, if it hits, it changed all your stats, 8 to 12?
Well, this is it. If your stats above average, okay, so say you have 18 of something, 18 dex, it hits you and it targets one of your stats. And if your stats above 14 or even 13, I forget what it was, it halves it permanently, no save if it hits. So, and this was a Tim thing to get rid of some of the unbelievable stat people that were playing in his. So.
But if you had a 4 intelligence, it raised it.
Right, it would double it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So the mediocre jelly was a real cool thing with that Tim created, and there were a lot of fringe players that we were talking about, the Derricks and the real Michael Batons of the world, and the Sleepies and those people. Tim was. I wish he was on tonight, but I know he's away. And wow, I haven't dropped a frickin' frame since I rebooted my router. Unbelievable. So it was all my fault the whole time, guys. I apologize.
Well, we were blaming you anyway.
Yeah, well, of course. I just like my wife. I get blamed for everything. So
we'll put you on Thursday. I'll bring the pillow.
That's a big one, was the stats, and we kind of got away from it. We give half orcs and dwarves can have higher dexes than they should,
Yeah,
the game.
like a half orc can only have 14.
Yeah, and we allow them to have like 16, 17 in some
Yeah.
cases. So, yeah, even Jay's router cheats now. You got it. Absolutely.
Yeah, but
Unbelievable.
Jay, the reality is in our campaign with the stat limits is that, I mean, we're still flexible enough where if I give you a good reason why
Absolutely.
this half orc has 18 intelligence, you know, you allow it as long as I have a good story.
Absolutely, absolutely, and that's the thing in the role play. And I know we are called, guys. I know we're called a tactical D&D game because it is. I mean, with the board and here's another one. Here's another homebrew. We made up the ranges and everything based on inches and on that Death Giver ruler. I mean, we made that up because battle system didn't work. Everyone knows how cool of an idea battle system is. It just doesn't work.
Good on paper.
It doesn't. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
So we kind of came up with the idea that outdoors, if a spell says yards, you convert it to feet, but it's still like 30 yards is 90 feet, right? An inch is 10 feet. It's just the way it is. Now in our game, there's the melee rule that if you're engaged in melee with someone, I don't care where you're measured out, you're engaged in melee, you're susceptible to the same spell they can get me hit with because you're fighting with them. You're within that 5-foot radius.
Right.
It's static. Melee's not static. So, yeah, exactly, Sprocket. It just doesn't work, man. It's a shame because it had some potential. I know they did stuff with chainmail back after that, and that didn't work either. So I know I'm going somewhere with a point here. A tactical game. What's that?
Then you kill me, I swear.
Yeah, he was talking to him in person too. Is just with a British accent is great. And I learned a word, drunk wavy. I didn't know that. Wavy means you're intoxicated in in the UK. Do you know that? He says, I'm wavy right now. And I said, does that mean like you're tipsy? Well, that's what we would say in the US, or you're intoxicated. Yeah. Okay. So cool, man. But that's a homebrew big time rule. Our tabletop setting, the way we play, is all homebrew. We had to figure out area effect spells. We had to figure out movement rates, and it all turned into inches. It works, but there's no rules set for that anywhere written down. We came up with all that.
Did that come out of Mech Warrior? Kind
of, but Mech Warrior is a 2-for-1. So yes,
Okay.
yes.
That's where Death Giver came from.
Yeah, it did. That's where Death Giver came from. You're absolutely correct on that, Mark. 1 inch is, what is it, Bill, in Mech Warrior? 1 inch is 15 meters.
Yeah, it's like that, but
Yeah.
it doesn't matter because it's it just was a miniatures conversion of 2 to 1.
Yeah, and so when we started playing with miniatures, and we're talking now, we really got into the miniatures in 2002 when NBA came out, and I started buying NBA stuff. That's when we really started. So we're in the house in Stratford, and I got the table. No, it's before that, because I got the 8x8 table back in '95 or '96 before I got married, actually.
Yeah. No, you were doing that at least 2001.
No, wait, I got that. Yeah. I got the table in '98 because it was in Stratford. I had moved. It was in Stratford. It was '98, and miniature. We just turned it the minute. Everyone loves the miniature style we play with 1E, 2E, and that's all homebrew. That's all.
And honestly, that's original. I mean, it was just the concept of what you played with before. We just didn't really. I mean, we used to play on an old coffee table, if you remember.
Yep, or at a kitchen table.
House in Barrington, or a kitchen table, and so it was just more representational.
Yeah.
Than anything, and then it just kind of grew into being more scale. So that there wasn't abusive rules that way either.
Lo, you're correct that the original game is tactical, but there's really not much as far as the way as rules go. Explaining like the distances and all that stuff for figures and monsters and all. There's really not, when you think about it. I mean, there's just ranges and things, but it's kind of a hybrid between the theater of the mind and tactical. And we just and that's where I'd like to say that, and getting back to what Alan was talking about, it all links together. I don't want to say that we're super heavy RP, because we're not super heavy RP, but the background stories and the interaction and all is like, it's got a flavor to it. And I know sometimes it's hard to pick it up watching it on the stream, but there's some really great, the characters are super developed. Every character is got a great background story. All of Alan's, Bill's,
Except for
Tom's,
Fritz.
Mark. They're all great stories, and they're all great. And there's a lot of interaction, but it's not to the level of theater of the mind a 5e game is. But there's a lot of it there. So
Mhm.
yeah. That was yeah. I can't drink Miller Lite Coors Light anymore. Rocks. It's like drinking oh. So. But remember, craft beers in the U.S. are awesome too now. So, guys, Bill, bring up a rule or something that you really like that has changed, or that you before you guys got to go in 6 minutes, and then only be Mark and me.
I mean, we simplified game mechanics for the big thing. One of the big differences between what we're doing now and what Mark's doing in his game is styles of initiative.
Good one.
Yeah.
Good one. So everyone knows I'm lazy, all right, and but I think we would. Bill, in particular, agrees with me. I don't know if Alan does, but Bill does. Individual initiative would not work in our game.
That'd be painful.
Yes. Okay. So Alan agrees too. It would be a very difficult, maybe in the last encounter, to do it. But we are a one die roll, and it kind of has a little bit of a flair. I mean, it's like tradition now. The die 6 goes around the table and you lose, and it's kind of a traditional thing that we do for our game. Now, Mark has evolved it on his game, which is great. Mark's making
and I actually started off my group using side-by-side initiative as well. But I will say it does tend to slow the game down as far as battles are concerned. And if you can live with that, it's not so bad. We're not really rushing to get through anything because it's more of a character development story in the grand scheme of things.
Right.
So I don't mind slowing it down so much because to me it gives more of a realistic.
Well, you've got new players too, and you want them to experience everything.
Oh, absolutely.
Well,
and the main reason why I like it is just simply because specifically when you have spellcasters, that's really what it is intended to do. It's a more tactical thing where you don't want to have people throwing fireballs into the midst of combat and trying to figure, those pieces out. And oh no, everybody wait! And I was going to do this or I was going to do that. It just becomes more of utilizing what a round would really happen within a minute's worth of time, what you can accomplish. It's not for everybody, and that's perfectly fine. I like it for mine, and I like the side by side as well.
Yeah, and it depends on the game, and Naz brings up a good thing. You obviously, for your 8 kobolds in that situation, you're going to do a group initiative. If you don't, you're going to really get. Look at that! I haven't dropped a frame since I rebooted. Yeah. Unbelievable. So that's a good one, Bill. As far as there's all different sorts of rules on group. Group and initiative, single and we've always done the group, and I don't think I'm going to change it. I know that's good that Mark has changed it in his, and it makes sense for what his players, and he's got a whole bunch of new people, so that's great.
If it was smaller group and you're not rolling for 15 creatures on a board, then sure.
So Alan, bring up something, but I'm gonna flip over to the insanity rules that we have, because we didn't discuss that yet before you leave. So if you got something, one you want to bring up before you depart, what do you think?
From an insanity rule?
No, anything, like any homebrew rule, because I know you and Bill are going to be leaving shortly.
Yeah. I think that the fact that we've actually, and you have on your list here, actually, no, you don't.
What's that?
We've actually allowed some non-traditional classes to be our NPCs or PCs. With poo poo and caca.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And here's our whole class list right here. So,
absolutely, that's good entry in that.
Yeah, I don't want to play. I don't want to have. We lost Alan real quick. Alan, I think, accidentally popped off. That was funny. He may have just disconnected. We always said we're not role playing anything that's not traditional. We went with a wing folk because it was in the Best of the Dragon for a bit, and that didn't work either. It just didn't, having a player character flying around, it just didn't make sense for us. So you hopped off there by accident, I think. So I have some NPCs that are humanoids, which is cool, and they've been in the game for 25 years. you know, and there's some interaction with some of those, but we're not going to allow player characters to that. And I know there's Dragonborn in 5e, and there's Minotaurs, and there's what do they call them, the Goliaths and stuff, and that's cool for 5e. But for us, it's the base. Here's the class.
Lost Jay again.
Yep. And guys, I got 3
All right.
minutes. I want to get inside. And get
Roll
set
off,
up.
Yeah, I'm
guys.
doing the same thing.
Right, roll off. It'll
No
just
problem.
be
I'll
Mark
stick
and me.
around.
It'll just be
Talk to
Mark.
you guys
All
later,
right,
man.
talk to you. Of course you lost me, and so yeah, just installing. It's beautiful. So yeah, so I guess it wasn't me resetting the router delayed the inevitable, but we're still on here. So guys, you got to, if anyone wants to drop for Game of Thrones, that's I completely understand. It's cool. So Mark,
Yeah.
let's talk about the crazy players, the insanity things, guys. This is what we have. We have some really bizarre player characters. In particular, everyone knows Tim is not playing with a full deck of cards. So let's go to Murdoch the Mighty. Okay, Murdoch the Mighty and Mark's character Swain hated each other, even though they're both like very similar. One was a fighter clerk mage, one was a fighter clerk.
Yep.
So, but Murdoch, he played Murdoch well, and Murdoch had just like Tim has a screw loose. So he came up with a special table. We haven't gotten to custom spells. All this disconnecting.
Yeah.
I really apologize, guys. We haven't gotten to that. We'll have a part 2 of this down the road. Magic 8 Ball. We will. All right. So here. I just went by it. You got to be kidding me.
Yep.
All right. So let me configure this so it doesn't move. I'll make it every 240 seconds. Preview update. Okay. All right. Here we go. So now it will barely move now. All right.
Yep.
So he rolls a die at the beginning of the adventure, and that's the character personality he takes on. Okay. So kind of fun. All right. So I put Murduck. You like that? That was an accident. I was like, I'm not cutting and pasting it back in. I'm not converting it to a PDF and then cutting it into a JPEG again. So Murdoch the Mighty is a fighter. Murdoch the Mighty is the guy who Makarash cut his left arm and right leg off in the same swing that we talked about. When the city of Altamira was founded on that adventure, it was called Cavalier School back then. That is the first adventure ever took place at the city of Altamira, which it became. But he got his left arm, right arm, left leg cut off by Makarash in one swing. This is this character. So these are all his personalities, and they go from Rob Ledbetter, emphasis on the better, right? A megalomaniac, Paul the Pauper, poor Tom's cold, and Sergeant Billy Bubba. He's got all the Myrtle and Misleading. He's got all these really cool personalities. The Brown Hornet is from Fat Albert. If anyone ever watched that, Chamber the Quick. Crazy Fish is his special personality, and he'll go like this. He'll do the fish thing and go, when he fumbles, he turns into Crazy Fish. So if he rolls a 1, so and this is my life as a DM having to, which is kind of fun actually. So. And, this character was loosely based off of Murdoch from the A-Team, right? That's where he got the idea.
Yeah.
So, and now we're showing how old we are now, too, with that movie. I mean, that TV show, because the movie was goofy. But, 12 different personalities. Now, this was outdone, but you can't read it. And I wasn't about to type all this up. This was outdone by Alan with Javid. He has an elf who's got multiple personality disorder. Okay, so he's a melancholy. So he rolls a 20-sided die when the adventure starts. Melancholy, kleptomania, schizoid, I don't even know what that is. Dementia, megalomania, delusional, hallucinatory, paranoia, something confused. What's that say? I don't even know. Gender confused. Oh my gosh. I didn't notice that one. Oh my gosh. Homicidal. What's hebepharia? Oh, he talks to himself. Oh my gosh. So he's got, and he's got some duplicates down because he ran out. But this character, and he thinks he's a deity, a minor deity, crazy stuff. And
it takes, and unfortunately, I really wish that Alan would have been here for it. It takes a hell of a player to be able to switch like that and
Yeah.
do that amount of role play into the mix and do it so well.
Well, guess what, guys? He's in the Helpless Swords, right?
Yep.
We're playing the Helpless Swords after we're done the this adventure we're doing now. After we're done Darkwood Heart, we're going to play the Helpless Swords, and Naz is going to be happy, Rox is going to be happy, and all Celestian, you're all going to be happy, okay? Because they're going to be in Harby, and Michael Baton is going to hire this group to do something for him.
Yes.
So it doesn't get any better than that, guys. Yes, yes. So I will tell Mark ahead of time what the parameters are, and Mark will role play Michael Baton for the Hiltless Swords. So that'll be. I haven't even titled the adventure yet. That is the next adventure we're going to do after we're done this one coming up, Darkwood Heart. So in
make sure that Bill has his new figure done.
He's working on it. I already talked to him about it. Yeah, absolutely. So just so you all know, that's coming. Because I know Michael Baton and Fritz are like the two most in-demand characters, but Michael Baton's by far number one. Yep. So hopefully you all like that. I like that. So definitely. All right. So and then it goes one step beyond this. Now you think this is crazy? Tim has a character. Yes, Rock. Tim has a character named Fred the Farty, a gnome. Okay. Fred's got some problems.
Gastrointestinal.
That's cool, band. I never knew that. Darkest Dungeon has quirks and afflictions. Cool. I did not know that. I never really looked into that. That's cool, man. I never knew that. I know there's some things out there we could take from other settings. Like I was talking to Naz this morning, and he goes, "I just got Baldur's Gate and Baldur's Gate 2 Enhanced Editions." I said, "You've never played them?" And he goes, "No, I never have." And I said, "Oh my God, dude, you're gonna think that I don't have any unique content when Inquisitor, right? Mark, Swashbuckler. Yeah. I mean, all these stuff comes from that game itself. So, yeah." I'll check it out, guys. That's a great band. That's a great suggestion, man. I'll check it out. Thanks, Naz. We'll talk about it next time we're on Zoom together. We'll talk about that too. So here we go. We got to show you this now. Please, if you're offended by this, I'm sorry. Okay, but this is all toilet humor.
Opportunity offenders anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, this is toilet humor. So Fred has created Tim, of course. Hey, yes, you're going to be pretty offended.
Of course you are.
Fred has created, taking the thief table and created a farting table. Okay, so he's got percent chances to fart silently, even accidentally push out a solid fart. Yes, I know. It Fraley comes on just as we're talking about a fart table. Great, Fraley. So hopefully you're like, this is ridiculous. But yeah, this is another Timism. He's taking it one step further. Yeah, that's good. I'm glad, Naz, you're going to use this. So yes, this is how far it goes in character development. This is also the character that we talked about. He leaped off a ramp and spun pirouetting, throwing 4 darts. Remember I talked about? It's the same character. Yes. And I'm thinking to myself, what are you, a freaking gymnast? Yeah, so exactly. So Fraley, at least you came on the right time, Fraley. So there you go. Yeah, this is my life as a DM. Yeah, a holy halfling grenade, cool. That would be fun too. All sorts of cool stuff. So this is what I have to deal with. But once again, we're talking about some player bus here on the homebrew. Let me scan through all this and go to. I'll talk about that in a bit. All right. So what I've always tried to do in another thing with homebrew is there's some tables you really need access to in spells, and these are 2 that come out of the player's option book. And they're Chaos Sphere. Man, you need these tables. So try and make, like, if you're DMing and there's some spells that everyone uses over and over again, but they got to roll, like every round they got to roll dice effect. Make up a reference card, please. It's just an idea. Battle Fate, Chaos Warrior, 2 of them. There's probably a bunch of others I'm forgetting. They're there's Tom with it. Yeah. Then your character had what, Naz? Sprocket.
No, he's saying if the player has done any of those, then that means your character did as well.
Oh, okay.
At that moment.
I got some stories. Maybe one day we'll go into our road trip stories. Yeah, we'll talk about those one day in detail. We'll talk about our road trips. So, but Ucha Mala Master. There you go, Ucha. Yeah, Ucha got a coin set and said he already used it in his game, and he already DM'd with it, and so did Brian Blumklotz, and Tim got his too. So all the coins winners got theirs. This week I'll be talking with Colin again from Stratagem for what they're going to give away for May for us. So I'll know probably by next broadcast what we're going to give away in May with Stratagem. So sit tight with that, guys. I appreciate that as well. That they NBA and Stratagem have been great for both of us, and both have been so fantastic and so generous. So, all right, custom spells. Let's talk about that. Mark, have you ever made a spell?
I think so, and you shot it down.
Sorry.
I don't think I ever had a character that really got to a particular level that they would go and create their own.
Right.
Maybe I might have with Swain at one point, but just never really got into the spell making.
So this is one thing that I go through put them through the ringer on. Okay, if you're going to make a custom spell, I want a reason. I want it to make sense, and I don't want it overpowered. So John has made 2 spells, and that's Tim's dad, and this is the second one, Abdul's Annoying Algorithm. Kind of a cool puzzle spell. He made one for his cleric, the Stone of the Prophet's Anger, which was way overpowered, and I cut it way back, and it's usable. And he didn't cast either one of them on Saturday night. So, Tim's one. Yeah, Tim has not really been into spell creation as much as Alan has. Walt even has. So this is Abdul's Annoying Algorithm. It's kind of cool. It's intelligent beings are much more susceptible to it. It's kind of like Maze in reverse. So it's a good spell, and I approved it. And I'd say, guys, I've approved, talking about homebrew, I've approved 10 spells, maybe, Mark, in 30 years.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Been a lot.
Yeah, it hasn't been a lot, but if it's a good idea. Now, the next 2 spells, I love. All right. Now, Alan has 2 of them, but I only show him 1. This is a great spell. I guarantee you, Will, if you're on. I guarantee you, Frank, if you're on still. Anna, you're going to love this spell. I don't know if it's in 5th edition. You're going to love this one. Arathorn's Ranger Attack. Okay, 3rd level. Duration's 1 round per level, 1 round per individual. It affects an individual per 5 levels. So at 5th level, you cast a spell, right, for 3rd. So it's 1. So you can get so you can get a 2nd individual at higher level. Okay, this is from his Ranger Mage Arathorn. On Anna, on your map, Ranger Hold in the bottom of Selene. That's Arathorn's Ranger Hold. Okay, so this is like a super high character in our campaign. It gives them the same damage modifier against humanoid classes that Rangers attack and get +1 hit point per damage per level. It's a cool spell. Yeah, so it's and range is range is 0, so it's touch. So he can cast this on it, like say Arathorn's the group, and I've allowed this magic user spell out, so a lot of the Knights of Yula characters have this. They're going up against orcs. Someone has Arathorn's Ranger Attack, and you're like 10th, you can give 2 characters of this, plus whatever their level is, bonus and damage to humanoids. So it's kind of a cool spell. Yep. And 1 round per level. So if you're like 9th, 10th level, it lasts a turn. It's so that's funny, though.
Yep.
So it's a great spell. It's every 5 levels. It's worded wrong up here. When you're 6, you get 2, and then 11 to get 3. So early on you do get 2 character people to cast it on, so it's effective. Okay, so that's a great spell. He also has Arathorn's Ranger Eyes. I'm assuming there's a spell like this, but that spell's second level, and that gives you ranger tracking ability. So that's a cool spell too. Both created by Alan, both very cool spells. All right, next one. Walt did this one. Miracle the Chaotic actually had this spell ready to go, and I didn't get to using it. Darwin's Double Dare. So this is kind of like advantages in 5e. Now I'm learning what advantage is, guys. Wild Mage attempts to control level variations of a spell, possibly with negative effects. You get to roll twice on the surge table for a Wild Mage if you have Darwin's Double Dare up. The problem is if you surge on either die, then it's bad. Okay, so you have double the chance to surge now, but if both come up, then you're looking for a double disaster. So it's got its good and bad things. It's kind of like advantage almost. Roll twice, you take the highest effect for levels. But it's a good spell, and like I said, Miracle the Chaotic has actually had this spell ready to go, but I didn't get around to casting it on during that fight.
There's actually a kind of going into specialized spell. There is an Ilmater spell that is just like that. That is called Embattlement.
Oh, okay, cool.
That basically it's 5e advantage, disadvantage.
Right. So I'm finding out more and more that advantage is super huge in 5e, and really affects a lot of stuff. But that's okay. We'll get there. Now, guys, we missed a lot. I know it's we're going to go to 9:30, and we missed a whole lot of stuff because of all my disconnects. I apologize. Sorry about that. The only good thing is I'll get a whole bunch of extra broadcasts this month because they'll be split up. So here's another thing. I'll scan back through this. Okay. Another homebrew rule of ours. We do wands. How the hell do you know how much it costs to recharge a wand? Does anyone know? It's not anywhere, right? So I finally, and I only did this about 9 months ago. This is one of the newest things. It wasn't long ago. It's one of the newest things that I've done in our game enhancement. So thank you very much, Shizenheimer, for the follow. 905. Thank you.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it. I probably would have had more. May have had a couple more if I didn't have all these issues tonight. Thank you so very much. And guys, enjoy your new shields, by the way. Naz, you can see yours. Anyone who's cheered, you got new shields now for your cheer badges. They're all up and in. Yeah. All right. So here it is. Okay. I only showed half of it. All right. So, yeah. Keeping it simple is good. Naz, you know that, Tim. Keeping it simple is good. So we're going to have fun on the 27th. I guarantee it. We'll talk about that in a couple minutes here. Book note, so DU's Drow the Underdark, that's the only wand that is in the Drow the Underdark. Dungeon Master's got Under Arcana, and then there's a class level limit on, you have to be that level to recharge it. There's a lot more down here at the bottom, as you can see. They just tend to be at the bottom of the page, and these are taken right out of Under Arcana usually. This is in gold pieces per charge. We had to set it somewhere, because you go to a town, and you have a wand of fire, and you're like, I want to get this wand recharged, and we never knew what to charge for it. Time, money.
We just kept like jumping all around.
Yeah, we didn't set
a specific limit.
This is the newest table that I can think of that I made. And I compiled I went through every single wand in our game. I went through all 300, 400 character sheets looking for all these. And some of them, guys, fire, fireballs, there's flame arrow, Owl's wisdom, paralyzation, there's all sorts of stuff on here. Notice some of these cannot be recharged. The ones that cannot are not on the list here. So you don't see a Rod of Resurrection on here. You don't see is negation on here?
Yeah, I don't think
negations can't be recharged. Whatever can't be recharged is not on this list. It's a wand that has to be recharged. So we made it together. We put this together, and you can see the largest is 2,500 gold. That's passage, okay, and a security. They're both out of Under Arcana, I think. 2,500 per charge. Then you got some that are 1,000. Polymorphing is 1,000 per charge. Alertness is 1,000 per charge, and a Wand of Earth and Stone is 1,000. And we scaled it, and we just figured out based on our economy. This is how that's how you got to do it. You got to do it based on what your economy is and how your gold system is in the game. And I don't like the abuse on this either, so I limit the amount of charges someone can get. Like Magic Missiles is cheap, right? Magic Missiles is 100, right? Is it 100?
Yeah, I think so.
It's 100. Magitation 50. All right. So normally I'm saying 10 charges max, guys. They don't have the mages here in this town. Don't have time. That's it. So did we decide what? No, Rethix. We decided what was rechargeable based on what's in the Dungeon Master's Guide and the Arcana, and it says this one may be recharged or not. That's a good question, Rethix. Good to see you, man. Um, and Rethix plays a lot on Skaga's channel, so he does some stuff on there, and I think hangs out with Low a bit too. So, um, yeah, we if it specifically said it could not be recharged, we didn't change it. So this list, like I said, guys, absolutely, man. There's a lot of we have added wands in. So the curing wands are definitely added. There's a staff of curing. There goes Low. The staff of curing is on here. That's 500. That's one of the best curing wands there is in the game. But we've added stuff. We've added a lot. Like we want a flame arrow, we added because we love that spell the way we set it up. We've added stuff, but we didn't alter what it was in the Arcana or the Dungeon Master's Guide. Go ahead, Mark.
I was going to say, in a lot of cases, these were all stemming from like computer games, like Baldur's Gate, and others that were like it. That basically you had wands that were created after spells, because that's just how they did it in other editions.
So for example, wound closure. No one knows what that is. That is a spell that's a necromancer spell from the Great Net Spellbook. So that a necromancer, I think it's second level, a necromancer can actually, through a spectral hand, can what we call wound binding, and I know there's an effect that in 5th edition that clerics can do to stop people from dying, right? It's kind of similar. So wound closure is a spell, and so I've given out a wand of that, or a staff or rod of it. So we had to, and it was rechargeable. So we had to figure out, where that would fall in, and 500 to charge seemed fair for it because it's a rare spell. So that's the way we think about those things. We try to make it legit. Now I hate over wand usage, and I have not gone to recharge rates yet. And my guys know when to stop using stuff. Right, Mark?
Yeah.
So once again, we'll get back to Tim. Tim is the ultimate abuser of let's push it. So when I've seen him cast Ice Storm from a wand of ice, what's that? Is it a wand of ice or is it a staff? Wand of Frost. When I see Ice Storm come out 4 rounds in a row, he's pushing his luck. Absolutely. Now, wand of magic missiles, I don't care about. You want to throw that out all day because that's all you have. That's fine. A burning hands one, that's fine. It's 6 points in our game, unlike 5th edition, which I thought some crazy amount. Mark, what do you hear? It's burning hands first level, 6 points. That's all it does. That's fine. The entry, the little pincy first levels, I'm fine with. But when you get to the high level, fireballs, which anyone can use, I've kind of stopped giving them out because I'm tired of fighters running around with wands of fireballs. That anyone can use wands. I'd rather them be mage only wands like fire or frost.
Yep.
So I've kind of gotten away from that. So it's it's an evolution. So if anyone wants this, I know Rox probably does. You guys want this? I'm more than happy to send it to you. Just whisper me your email. If I already have your email, that's fine. Anything you've seen tonight, guys. Anyone wants it? That's fine. It's cool. I'll always give out. We're open. We're very open here. So Mark, you got any other ones? And we'll talk about some
I was going to say, and it actually flipped up here. I think that, and we may not get an opportunity to talk about all of them, but having a discussion about specialized magic items that we created.
Yes.
So, as opposed to like spell creation that I haven't done an awful lot of, I've always kind of lended myself more towards like magic item creation.
Yes.
So I was going to say like the Arathorn's Ranger attack. I actually did a variation on a Giant Slayer where I made it the Ranger Giant Slayer, because what they call the humanoid damage in the player's handbook is versus giant class. And so I actually did a variation on it where it was, instead of true giants, it was against humanoids. It would actually do more damage and stuff, as an example. there's all sorts of other things that I've gone and created over the years, but the Magic 8 Ball, that one's a fun one.
Yeah,
And
that was my doing. I had the 8 ball, and I'm like, what can I do with this? So the Magic 8 Ball, this strange miscellaneous magic item brings what seems to be random good or bad luck upon the user. However, those who know the powers of the Magic 8 Ball know it is all knowing and can actually see into one's future. You have to believe. So,
yeah, and I've done
oh
a
my God,
variation on it.
Tim is on.
There
Oh,
you go.
he must have got my email. Tim just said, I don't see how those items are ruined on the back here. He probably just read the email from wherever he is. That's so funny. That was a ding. Oh, there he goes
Yep.
again. Oh, he's blowing up my phone. All
Yep,
right.
there you
So
go.
the Magic 8 Ball, what we did with this was simple. I put it in an adventure. Salen has it. Salen Shadow Moon has it. That's Bill's character. He has to ask at the beginning of adventure a stupid question, and he shakes it just like the 8 ball, and we use it, and we roll an 8-sided die. And it's that simple.
I have a variation of it as well, and
Yeah.
mine does some different things.
Right.
But and Jeff and mine, his monk actually has it, and he constantly forgets. And I said, you got to do it at the beginning of any new adventure, and it'll apply for the whole adventure. But I would say probably one of the most prominent things in the game, and you're going to see it with Garth and how it's used, is the Squeeze Me Teddy.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah. So the Squeeze Me Teddy actually, there was a similar item that came in that's in the twofold talisman.
Yep.
All right, and I have it here somewhere, but it's buried. I have them both photocopied. I may rerun that someday. The twofold talisman. It's a good mess with the best direct. The rest jackets are in that,
Yep.
and the preppy sandals are in that, and all sorts of things. But there's an item in there. Well, the Squeeze Me Teddy, he squeezes it, and it's like a little kid's toy, and he yells, "Mommy!" Right? So it's a +1 ring of protection equivalent. I kind of throw in all this kind of stupid items here and there.
Yeah, and I have one that's similar, except it's a fear immunity, because that's really what.
Yeah.
To me, it classified itself as the little kid that holds on to their stuffed animal because they're afraid.
And we after all these years, it's been a blast creating stuff. And the Magic 8 Ball is really that was probably one of my coup de grace ones. That one's caught on Mark's create. Oh my God, Tim. Does he realize we're on now?
Probably not.
Yeah, we're still on the show. Yeah,
okay.
He doesn't know all the problems.
We'll have him come on the next time.
Yeah, he probably doesn't realize that we were running late because of the issues. So and guys, thank you for thank you very much for hanging in there tonight. I know it was a freaking disaster.
Yeah.
I really appreciated everyone. So, in closing, Mark, before I go to some announcements quickly, what do you think?
Yep. No, I think that we barely scratched the surface. Unfortunately, we thank everybody that stuck around. We'll have this again, definitely, because there's a lot of stuff that we didn't cover. Items that we didn't even cover, spells that we didn't cover. Just basics of things that we hadn't even really got to. But we hope that you enjoyed the subject. I mean, based upon the numbers that we saw tonight,
oh my gosh,
I think honestly, it's a fantastic subject. So we'll do this again probably fairly soon.
Yeah, we'll bounce around. Yeah, absolutely.
We'll do the same.
And thank you for that. This was Bill's idea, and I was like, this is a great idea, because everyone knows your D&D game is never part of the rules. You're not 100% a rules monger. Like, you can't. If you're a rules monger and you stick to the rules, you're not going to have players.
Yeah.
Right? It's just you're not going to. You got to have a little bit of flexibility. You got to have that. You got to listen to your players. I've always said that. Listen to people who play with you. And work with it and let them be creative. And like I said, spells are something that I've not been that open allowing, but character development, all that stuff, and classes and things. I really love input from my players. So this is what's going on. I know it's almost 9:30 here, but we'll go for like 1 or 2 minutes late, a couple minutes late here. Thursday night we finish Darkwood Heart. Bill's Avenger has claimed it for himself. I was surprised, but he's an Avenger of Serenus, and now they've killed Florinoxus, the Green Dragon, and wait till he sees, well, the abilities that thing has. And there's Vegapygmies running around now, and they don't know how many of these, the Master of the Hunts druids are here to claim this thing as well. So we'll see where that goes. It's going to be a free-for-all fight at the end, I think, because you guys are weakened too, right, Mark? You guys are weakened.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see how that goes. That'll be a good fight. Maybe be some deaths in that, maybe see some carnage in it, but we'll see how that goes. And that'll be Thursday, and that'll finish up. That'll be the third week of adventure number 848, Darkwood Heart, and we'll finish that one up. Next, hopefully, we won't have any more issues with frame rates dropping. But next Sunday, we're going to delve into the fighter class, and we're going to talk about how we've. Well, I got a crying cat who just came in. We're going to delve into the fighter, and we're going to talk about how we refreshed it so that it's not a dead class for us. We'll talk about like specialization, what we did with two-fisted fighting, what we did with two-handed weapons, what we did with multi-classers, what we did with ripping off some World of Warcraft abilities, which we did, that work in our game very well. And then time permitting, we'll talk about the Shield Thane, we'll talk about the Guardian and the Barbarian as well.
Yep.
So that'll be a good one. That'll branch us in. The day after that, Mark, are you going to do Shieldlands, or are you going to do you know yet?
So the thought is that we're probably going to finish up where they're at in the Shieldlands, at least the next part, and then we'll probably switch back to Slap for a few weeks. I don't want them losing concentration on that,
Yeah, good. That's good. But what I like though is you'll get a story arc done, because with the Shieldlanders you get a part of it done. So in 2 weeks, a week and a half, you'll be a week from tomorrow. Actually, you'll be up.
Yeah, a week from tomorrow will be Shieldlands, and then after that, it'll probably be Slap.
Cool. So 2 weeks from tonight is the big event. It's going to be our next DM roundtable. We're going to have up to 8 DMs already. I had two that cannot come. Carlos Slicing is unavailable, and Jimmy from Praetor's Rejects. There we go. I'm disconnecting again.
Oh, you're good.
Okay. Praetor's Rejects is unavailable, but we're still gonna have about 8 DMs. I'd love to see. I think we'll see mega numbers on that. I got some new questions I've been working on. I told Aaron a couple of them. I got some, we'll have some of the similar questions because we'll have some new blood there, but I think it's good. It's a community bonding thing. It's great as far as getting some other people involved, and that'll be 2 weeks from tonight. That'll be number 43, our third DMs roundtable we've had. I'm going to try and do one every 3 to 4 months now, because everyone who said they can't come to this one goes, I will do the next one. Whenever you do it, I want you to do the next one.
Yeah, it's become a staple. Honestly, it really has become a staple in the Gabbin show.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's our bread and butter. It's always been our highest rated show to date. Whenever we were moving up
tonight.
Yeah. Well, who knows? This is going to be all over the place.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff. So look for in May, and I talked about this. I got the keeps. I showed them Thursday night. I got the Cenervian Towers. We're going to do another mega. Frank, good. I'm glad to hear that, Frank. I'm glad to hear that you are excited about it, because hopefully we don't have these issues. But the last one, hopefully it's just yeah. What's that? Yeah. Close that door, okay? My son's asking me a question there. So hopefully we will have no internet connection issues. Like I said, I've had one in months. I'll figure it out. We're gonna do another mega. It's going to be more. I like Mark's idea. I'm going to do a little bit more story discussion on this, but we're going to do another Night of Ulick event coming up, where it's going to be the assault or the defense of the Watchers Towers out in the Pomarge. If anyone knows Anna's map, the Lord of Ulick has 2 keeps out in the middle of nowhere in the Pomarge, and they're kind of there. It's like kind of draw moth to a flame, right? So high-level characters, and that's you see Garth Warmonger, Schlemmin Mule, Mark, whoever you decide to play. We're going to see some high-level characters in that. And I'm talking for us in the level of 10 to 12, and that'll be sometime in May. I'm working out the logistics on that because I want to try and tie that in with a giveaway or something else like that. So, and I know there's stuff I missed because of tonight. It was such a bizarre, harrowing night with disconnects. Guys, I want to thank you all for staying the course with us. Thank you. Great numbers again tonight. I don't know what else to say other than thank you.